Blog Talk Radio.
President recognizes Mr. Adams of Massachusetts.
Objects of the most stupendous magnitude. Measures which will affect the lives of millions, born and unborn, are now before us. We must expect a great expense of blood to obtain them. But we must always remember that a free constitution of civil government cannot be purchased at too dear a rate, as there is nothing on this side of Jerusalem of greater importance to mankind. My worthy colleague from Pennsylvania has spoken with great ingenuity and eloquence. He has given you a grim prognostication of our national future, but where he foresees apocalypse, I see hope. I see a new nation ready to take its place in the world. Not an empire, but a republic. And a republic of laws, not men. Gentlemen, we are in the very midst of revolution. The most complete, unexpected, and remarkable of any in the history of the world. How few of the human race have ever had an opportunity of choosing a system of government for themselves and their children. I am not without apprehensions, gentlemen. But the end we have in sight is more than worth all the means. I believe, sirs, that the hour has come. My judgment approves this measure, and my whole heart is in it. All that I have, all that I am, and all that I hope in this life, I am now ready to stake upon it. While I live, let me have a country. A free country.
Before it is too late. Why can't politicians control the federal debt? Because all our money is created out of debt. Again, it's a debt money system. Our money is created initially by the purchase of U.S. bonds. The public buys bonds like savings bonds. The banks buy bonds. Foreigners buy bonds. And when the Fed wants to create more money in the system, it buys bonds, but pays for them with a simple bookkeeping entry, which it creates out of nothing. Then this new money created by the Fed is multiplied by a factor of 10 by the banks thanks to the fractional reserve principle. So although the banks don't create currency, they do create checkbook money or deposits by making new loans. They even invest some of this created money. In fact, over $1 trillion of this privately created money has been used to purchase U.S. bonds on the open market, which provides the banks with roughly $50 billion in interest, risk-free, each year, less the interest they pay to some depositors. In this way, through fractional reserve lending, banks create over 90% of the money and therefore cause over 90% of our inflation. What can we do about all this? Fortunately, there's a way to fix the problem fairly easily, speedily, and without any serious financial problems. we can get our country totally out of debt in 1 to 2 years by simply paying off these U.S. bonds with debt-free U.S. notes, just like Lincoln issued. Of course, that by itself would create tremendous inflation, since our currency is presently multiplied by the fractional reserve banking system. But here's the ingenious solution, advanced in part by Milton Friedman, to keep the money supply stable and avoid inflation and deflation while the debt is retired. As the Treasury buys up its bonds on the open market with U.S. notes, the reserve requirements of your hometown local bank will be proportionally raised, so the amount of money in circulation remains constant. As those holding bonds are paid off in U.S. notes, they will deposit this money, thus making available the currency then needed by the banks to increase their reserves. Once all the U.S. bonds are replaced with U.S. notes, banks will be at 100% reserve banking instead of the fractional reserve system currently in use. From this point on, the former Fed buildings will only be needed as a central clearinghouse for checks and as vaults for U.S. notes. The Federal Reserve Act will no longer be necessary and could be repealed. Monetary power can be transferred back to the Treasury Department. There would be no further creation or contraction of money by banks. By doing it this way, our national debt can be paid off in a single year or so, and the Fed and fractional reserve banking abolished without national bankruptcy, financial collapse, inflation or deflation, or any significant change in the way the average American goes about his business. To the average person, the primary difference would be that for the first time since the Federal Reserve Act was passed in 1913, taxes would begin to go down. Now there's a real national blessing for you, rather than for Hamilton's banker friends. Now let's take a look at these proposals in more detail. Here are the main provisions of a Monetary Reform Act which needs to be passed by Congress. We've drafted a proposed Monetary Reform Act which follows at the end of this tape. Of course, variations with the same results would be equally welcome. 1. Pay off the debt with debt-free U.S. notes. As Thomas Edison put it, if the U.S. can issue a dollar bond, it can issue a dollar bill. Both rest purely on the faith and credit of the United States government. This amounts to a simple substitution of one type of government obligation for another. One bears interest, the other doesn't. Federal Reserve notes could be used for this as well, but could not be printed after the Fed's abolished as we propose, so we suggest using U.S. notes instead. 2. Abolish fractional reserve banking. As the debt is paid off, the reserve requirements of all banks and financial institutions would be raised proportionally at the same time to absorb the new U.S. notes, which would be deposited and become the bank's increased reserves. Towards the end of the first year of the transition period, the remaining liabilities of financial institutions would be assumed or acquired by the U.S. government in a one-time operation. In other words, they too would eventually be paid off with debt-free U.S. notes in order to keep the total money supply stable. At the end of the first year or so, all of the national debt would be paid, and we could start enjoying the benefits of full reserve banking. The Fed would be obsolete, an anachronism. 3. Repeal the Federal Reserve Act of 1913 and the National Banking Act of 1864. These acts delegate the money power to a private banking monopoly. They must be repealed, and the money power handed back to the Department of Treasury where they were initially under President Abraham Lincoln. No banker or person in any way affiliated with financial institutions should be allowed to regulate banking. After the first two reforms, these acts would serve no useful purpose anyway, since they relate to a fractional reserve banking system. 4. Withdraw the U.S. from the IMF, the BIS, and the World Bank. These institutions, like the Federal Reserve, are designed to further centralize the power of the international bankers over the world's economy, and the U.S. must withdraw from them. Their harmless functions, such as currency exchange, can be accomplished either nationally or in new organizations limited to those functions. Such a monetary reform act would guarantee that the amount of money in circulation would stay very stable, causing neither inflation nor deflation. Remember, for the last 3 decades, the Fed has doubled the American money supply every 10 years. That fact and fractional reserve banking are the real causes of inflation and the reduction in our buying power, a hidden tax. These and other taxes are the real reasons both parents now have to work just to get by. The money supply should increase slowly to keep prices stable, roughly in proportion to population growth, about 3% per year, not at the whim of a group of bankers meeting in secret. In fact, all future decisions on how much money will be in the American economy must be made based on statistics of population growth and the price level index. The new monetary regulators and the Treasury Department, perhaps called the Monetary Committee, would have absolutely no discretion in this matter except in time of declared war. This would ensure a steady, stable money growth of roughly 3% per year, resulting in stable prices and no sharp changes in the money supply. To make certain the process is completely open and honest, all deliberations would be public, not secret, as meetings of the Fed's Board of Governors are today. How do we know this will work? Because these steps remove the 2 major causes of economic instability, the Fed and fractional reserve banking, and the newest one as well, the BIS, Bank of International Settlements. But most importantly, the danger of a severe depression would be eliminated. Let's listen to Milton Friedman on the single cause of severe economic depressions. I know of no severe depression in any country or any time that was not accompanied by a sharp decline in the stock of money, and equally of no sharp decline in the stock of money that was not accompanied by a severe depression. Issuing our own currency is not a radical solution. It's been advocated by Presidents Jefferson, Madison, Jackson, Van Buren, and Lincoln. But it's been used at different times throughout Europe as well. Perhaps the best example is one of the small islands off the coast of France in the English Channel. Called Guernsey, it's been using debt-free money issues to pay for large building projects for nearly 200 years. Here we are on Guernsey, and this is the Guernsey flower and vegetable market. Guernsey is one of the most successful examples of just how well a debt-free money system can work. In 1815, a committee was appointed to investigate how best to finance this new market. The impoverished island could not afford more new taxes, so the state's fathers decided to try a revolutionary idea: issue their own paper money. They were just colorful paper notes, backed by nothing, but the people of this tiny island agreed to accept them and trade with them. To be sure they circulated widely, they were declared to be good for the payment of taxes. Of course, this idea was nothing new. It was exactly what America had done before the American Revolution, and there are many other examples throughout the world. But it was new to Guernsey, and it worked miracles. This market is still in use. And remember, it was built for no debt to the people of this island state. But what if we follow Guernsey's example? How would the bankers react to these reforms? Certainly the international bankers cartel will oppose reforms that do away with their control of the world's economies as they have in the past. But it is equally certain that Congress has the constitutional authority and responsibility to authorize the issuance of debt-free money, U.S. notes, and to reform the very banking laws it ill-advisedly enacted. Undoubtedly, the bankers will claim that issuing debt-free money will cause severe inflation or make other dire predictions. But remember, it is fractional reserve banking which is the real cause of over 90% of all inflation, not whether debt-free U.S. notes are used to pay for government deficits. In the current system, Any spending excesses on the part of Congress are turned into more debt bonds, and the 10% purchased by the Fed are then multiplied many times over by the bankers, causing over 90% of all inflation. Our fractional reserve and debt-based banking system is the problem. We must ignore its inevitable resistance to reform and remain firm until the cure is complete.
Said that this would be a combined effort as a World War III kind of scenario. And, of course, it's all scripted. It was planned a long time ago, and no one is innocent in this when it comes to government. The only people innocent here are the people on the ground being used as pawns to sacrifice for the king and the queen. This is from Just the News. It says, House overwhelmingly approves Iran sanctions bill after attack on Israel. Total false flag. Another one from Just the News. It says, White House announces Iran sanctions targeting military programs after strike on Israel. We have this. Russia's arms pact with Iran. Moscow pledges fighter jets and air defenses to Tehran, including advanced missiles capable of shooting down U.S. and Israeli stealth planes. So the fear-mongering is getting pumped up right now. We are seeing the move between, of course, the Russia-Ukraine war and the Israel-Palestine, Lebanon, Iran, Syria, Yemen, Israel, against everyone in the entire world, apparently, except for those that cuck to them. And we're seeing that move. And, of course, we have to understand Hamas was created by Israel. Israel was propped up by the U.S. And, of course, Russia and Iran were as well. This is a massive scripted event that could seriously shift the world, and that's the plan. The idea is to create a reset, to have that great reset, as they say, but you need the right excuse to do this, and this is exactly what's happening. Iran enhances air defenses with Russian support. The Washington Post claims that Russia will provide Iran with its most advanced warplanes and missile defense systems. Remember, it was not that long ago that Israel was supportive of Russia and against Ukraine, and now Russia is against Israel, and Ukraine is in favor of Israel. It is just silly. This is so scripted. So we're going to get into this and much more today, my friends. But before we do, I urge people to check those links below. We have heavensharvest.com for long-term storable foods that are non-GMO. Again, this is really important. There's organic kits, heirloom seeds, water filtration and storage, and books on how to get started. Use code WAM, W-A-M, and you get 5% off, as well as free shipping on site design. So get on this today. Again, that's push the mainstream alternative media propaganda, which there is much of these days, where people pick sides. Oh, it's Iran or Israel, or it is Russia or Ukraine, and this is dead-end nonsense going to bring us into the reset. It's all scripted, and so we are not really on the side of anyone these days at all, other than humanity, and, of course, for that we get attacked, and so we cannot do it without you. So I appreciate it. There's GoGetFunding.com, Patreon, Subscribestar. We have a Bitcoin address. We have a CoinTree link with a bunch of different cryptocurrencies that you could donate in, if you please, including privacy coins. So we appreciate anything you guys can do to help. Now let's get into this. So this is announcing these Iran sanctions, and of course there's talks of strikes on Israel, strikes on Iran. Remember, this attack is completely nonsensical. We recently reported on it in a video called World War III and the War for Humanity, where we exposed a false flag. Of course, like October 7th, we also saw a false flag with these drone attacks. You're telling me that these drones got all the way from Iran to the Iron Dome without getting stopped? Give me a break. Talk about Pearl Harbor. And then the only people who died were Israel shooting down one of the drones and shrapnel hitting a house and killing a Palestinian child. My goodness, I cannot emphasize this enough. This is an evil war on humanity to get to a means in which they can enslave us with technocratic control. The Daily Mail says Russia's arms pact with Iran. Moscow pledges fighter jets and air defenses to Tehran, including advanced missiles capable of shooting down U.S. and Israeli stealth planes. Russia has been supplying weapons and knowledge to Iran as it heads into war. The Kremlin is escalating the strategic alliance between the two, experts say. The deals have seen drones and anti-aircraft weapons delivered to Tehran. This is the escalation we've been waiting for. Of course, Israel did most of the escalating by blowing up places in Iraq and Syria that were run by the Iranian government. So they did strike first. Let's be completely historically clear here. And Iran is actually a generally peaceful place. I don't agree with the government, but the people on the ground there are pretty reformed versus what people think they are. Russian military officials have quietly been supporting Iran with weapons and information as the crisis in the Middle East escalates as it has emerged. A strategic alliance between the two hostile nations, reports the Washington Post, has seen Russia supply an array of artillery to Iran, including prized anti-aircraft launchers and drones. Look, they want to eviscerate the Middle East. That's part of the agenda. That is ancient Babylon. That's ancient Samaria. That is ancient Persia. And the idea is to go back to a historical battle. And, of course, in the end times, it was predicted that this would happen. And Israel wants their, greater Israel project from the Nile to the Euphrates, as they say. And they're building a new Nile River, by the way, that's further west in the new administrative capital of Egypt, which I urge people to check out. It's insane. They've built this huge city. Now, they are doing this as they pummel the Middle East. They say that they will never stop until every single bad guy is killed. But they're giving the weapons to the bad guys, so it's a perpetual situation that can never possibly end. So they're basically saying forever until we eviscerate everyone, Muslims, Christians, Hindu, whatever it might be. They will continue mass murder, and all based on a false flag that was caused by Hamas, which the Israeli government armed and funded in the first place. The Biden administration was sending money not that long ago. Billions of dollars actually have found their way into the hands of Hamas. It's a fake quasi-proxy organization, much like ISIS and Al-Qaeda and the Taliban and Mujahideen and Muslim Brotherhood and all these kinds of groups, just like Iraq was armed and funded by the U.S., just like Russia was, just like the coup in Ukraine, just like we've seen the coup in Iran and in the arming and funding of Ho Chi Minh in Vietnam in the 1930s by FDR, which led to the Vietnam War. All these things are perpetual, and they go in a circle forever because the whole purpose is to cause constant chaos, to get constant order for the very globalists that are mass murdering people, and then they come in as a safety net. It's insane. And it's really just a war against humanity. It really isn't any specific governmental goal other than it's not even just to enslave, it's to sacrifice us on the altar. They want to get rid of humanity. That is their spiritual, in their view, their spiritual belief. It's sick. The reported deals, it says in this article, are evidence of a concerning dynamic between the two nations, which experts warn show Iran is growing in strength and negotiating power as it barrels towards war. They want Iran to be, just like Turkey is a generally peaceful country. I was just there. They want these countries to become the new Iraq and Syria. It's part of their agenda, and that's why we're seeing economic issues and massive weapons deals happening right now. Because it's no longer the patron-client dynamic where Russia holds all the leverage, said Hannah Note, director of the Eurasia Non-Proliferation Program at the James Martin Center for Non-Proliferation Studies. The Iranians are accruing benefits from this change. The nature of their relationship has gone beyond just getting things. There's knowledge transfer. There's tangible gains, it says. And it continues, experts warned that the growing relationship between Russia and Iran took a large step forward in 2022 when Iran agreed to help bolster the invasion of Ukraine. This agreement saw Iran supply thousands of battlefield drones and missiles, a move that the Kremlin has reportedly been interested in reciprocating. Russia has vowed to support Iran with air defense technology and advanced fighter jets, particularly as it is facing the possibility of counterstrikes from Israel in the wake of its halted attack on Tel Aviv last week. Intelligence officials and weapons experts told the Washington Post that the supply of weapons to Iran make it far more formidable military in modern warfare if it has an enhanced ability to shoot down planes and missiles. By the way, they have an enormous amount of active duty people willing to fight in Iran versus Israel. I mean, it makes Israel look like nothing, but Israel is one of the most armed countries in the world and has this technocratic grid that the U.S. and Britain helped establish over the years after, all the different faulty or fake, I should say, proxy revolutions. Such a capability, it says, was shown in full force following Iran's strikes on Israel as international allies helped shoot down almost all drones heading to the nation. In particular, Iran is said to covet Russia's S-400 anti-aircraft launchers, which military analysts say are able to detect and destroy stealth fighter jets operated by Israel and the United States. It says, according to the outlet, a Russian arms dealer was caught inviting a delegation of Iranians to tour one of his weapons factories named NPP START in March 2023. The factory was under U.S. sanctions for supporting the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and its hosting of the Iranian delegation was not known until February. That month, a hacker group shared stolen Iranian emails that saw Russians describe the meeting as an exhibition for scientific and technical potential and production capabilities. And again, these hackers are probably just CIA, and they disguise it as so. While it is not clear whether any weapons were bought in that trip, analysts have seen it as a clear intention that the relationship between the two nations is already forged as they head deeper into conflict. According to the cited anonymous experts, this collaboration will extend beyond anti-aircraft launchers and may also include the co-production of military drones inside Russia. It may also include the sharing of anti-jamming technology and information sharing over weapons deployment against forces in Ukraine. So people ask, how does this all come together? Russia, China, Israel, Ukraine, Taiwan, Palestine, Lebanon, Iran, all these different countries all combine into this one big issue. This is how World War III starts. I've been warning people for years that this exact situation would happen. It was obvious even in 2017 with the attacks on Syria by the United States, after the fake gassing of children, which was absolutely known as a false flag now, but at the time we reported 3 days before that happened that would happen, saying that they're going to commit a false flag attack, probably biowarfare of some kind, and then blame it on Assad. We are seeing it all come full circle now. The emergent dynamic, it says, between Russia and Iran may also be enhancing Iran's air force, which has been seen as falling behind other world militaries. The Iranian air force is primarily made up of rebuilt U.S. and Soviet jets from before 1979. However, intelligence officials warned that Russia has been advancing a deal to supply Su-35 fighter jets. Now, people keep saying, why do you keep saying that the United States propped up Iran in the first place? Well, the 1953 coup is obvious, but people say, yeah, but then the Ayatollahs took it back and fought the CIA with arms that came from who? Who armed and funded them? Who scripted out the story so perfectly that it leads to what we're seeing today, because everything worked out exactly perfectly. The scripts were great, and, we see Operation Argo and all these different things. My goodness, it just goes so full circle. It's like the perfect puzzle piece in the puzzle, that last piece. It all comes together perfectly. There's no people outliers really in this world order. They are part of the same system that is to destroy this current world order and produce a much more dangerous one going forward, which is the Great Reset, which is you will own nothing and you will be enslaved, which Klaus Schwab said is based on the Chinese model. They say China is a role model for it. Well, look at China and look how they were propped up by the U.S. and look at how the Trilateral Commission made them the guinea pig state for technocracy, while Zbigniew Brzezinski, who ran the Trilateral Commission, was at the same time arming and funding Al-Qaeda and the Mujahideen. I mean, come on, it's just so typical, just like Henry Kissinger met with Mao and propped them up as a world superpower to give them export and import monopoly. At the same time, he was shaking hands with the Saudis and making the petrodollar system work after the French found out that the United States government didn't have the gold that they said they had, which was backing their dollar allegedly, which then led, fast forward to today, it leads to China now actually creating this BRICS currency, which plans to be released this year, world reserve currency, at the same time as Saudi Arabia leaves the dollar for BRICS. It is so perfect, all of it. For people to think that this is a coincidence with all these things happening simultaneously, it's absurd. The supply chain, everything. Let's move on. So Iran enhances air defenses with Russian support. We have this: Iran attack on Israel. Best way to punish aggressor, Putin says. The Iranian president reaffirmed to his Russian counterpart that his country will respond to future action against its interests with even greater force. So we see the obviously the emboldening of this war on every front. Meanwhile, you have the U.S. ruling class says a limited scope response to Iran's attack on Israel is coming. The U.S. is planning to attack Iran. Now, they've already done this many times in Syria and Iraq. They killed Soleimani in early 2020, January 2020, and it was all meant to stir up these issues. While, of course, they said to the Iraqis, we come here in peace to save you and to bring democracy, which is nonsense in the first place, two wolves and a sheep deciding what to have for dinner. But with that said, they go to Iraq, they say they want to give them democracy. Then the parliament in Iraq votes the United States government out, and the U.S. government continues bombing campaigns there because it's not your democracy, it's theirs. See how that game is played. It is one perpetual script that just keeps leading to new versions of order out of chaos. Jordan opened airspace for Israeli jets to counter Iran. Yes, we know who rules the banking system, and the banking system is what rules Jordan. So no surprises there that Jordan would open the airspace for Israeli jets to counter Iran. Again, this isn't pro-Iran, but it's certainly not pro-Israel. The idea is that this is a genocidal nation that backs both sides of every war and commits usury to indebt the public in order to be subservient to them because they have no choice because they're impoverished and they can't eat. This is how Israel operates, and if you go against them, you're an anti-Semite. They attack you, they bomb you, they make your life hell. They send in Mossad, they send in Epstein to sell children to people. They push the trans stuff on kids. This is well known. And yet conservatives bow down and lick the boot of Israel regularly and the Zionist psychopaths that run Israel, who, by the way, hate Jews that oppose the government. They hate Christianity. They bomb churches regularly under the guise of stopping tunnels that Hamas has underneath churches, which Israel, on the record, built themselves. Jordan also directly intercepted Iranian projectiles en route to Israel during Operation True Promise. Their true promise to kiss the ring, kiss the boot, bow on their knees, and show themselves to be a Zionist-controlled country. Well done, Jordan. Well done. As soon as they're finished with Iran, they will blow you to smithereens as well, because that's what Israel does. They scheme, they conspire. That's the nature of Israel. And, well, they don't like, ancient ruins. They are going to target Petra. They are going to target all the nice places, just like in Baalbek, Lebanon. They are going out of their way to try and destroy ancient sites that might give us a hint into what we are facing next. Israel to extend water agreement with Jordan for helping shoot down Iranian drones. Oh, everyone benefits. Wow, perfect. Just like clockwork. Jordan basically shoots himself in the foot. Jordan shows that they are shills to Israel. And despite the long war around Mount Sinai, and with Egypt, etc., they band together with Israel, and they get a water agreement out of it. It's called shilling. It's called grifting. It's called paying you to do something that is obviously not just wrong, but evil. And that is what Israel is doing. That's what Jordan is doing. Absolute shills. U.S. says it will not fight for Ukraine like it will for Israel. Imagine that. Think of how much money they sent to Ukraine. Everything's Ukraine this, Ukraine that. And let's give this guy money to buy his cocaine. Just massively pay off any debts he has while at the same time pushing a global war while homeless people starve in the streets of the United States. It's the end of an empire. It's a controlled collapse of an empire from the west to the east. That is the agenda for the sake of technocracy and 50-minute cities and CBDCs and a world government, technically a Zionist ethno-state, as Moses Hess once said, one of the top communists of all time, one of the biggest philosophers, that you needed a Zionist ethno-state. At the end of the day, that's what the Bolsheviks started, and now that's what we're seeing come to a precipice right now as they push for a new temple. Well, if they love Ukraine so much, the fact that they will not fight for Ukraine as much as they will fight for Israel tells you who runs that show, and Ukraine isn't mad about it. In fact, we're seeing Ukraine is going to join NATO. Blinken is announcing this, signaling imminent World War III with Russia. We have all these stories coming out. But I want to point out that Zelensky has also just announced that he is completely 100% supportive of Israel and is attacking anyone that dares to speak out against Israel's actions, saying Iran must be punished, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Which, again, is interesting considering that Israel was supportive of Russia in 2022, telling Ukraine to surrender. And, of course, they had a direct line. Russia and Israel were some of the closest allies. They had a direct line between Putin and Netanyahu. It's well known. One of the top Russian-speaking countries in the world happens to also be Israel because, well, where do you think a lot of these people came from in this massive move in 1948 that mass murdered just insane amounts of innocent civilians, create a new Zionist ethno-state? And now it switches around, and now Ukraine supports Israel, and Russia supports the rest of the world against Israel. I guess that's one way to put it. So now Ukraine is joining NATO. Again, they kissed the right ring. They kissed the right boot. And all the while, deadly Israeli strike on aid convoy in Gaza was no accident, as it's being reported, and the IDF likely knew exactly who they were targeting. There's evidence that the IDF knew they were blowing up these aid workers that were British nationals and these aid workers that were Australian nationals. They knew. They murdered these people, and these are people that came from World Central Kitchen, and they were deliberately attacked, and a lot of evidence is coming out of that, and including Spanish chef Jose Andres, who founded the World Central Kitchen, and its charity CEO, Aaron Gore, have both been vocal about accusing the IDF of systematically and deliberately attacking them or targeting them. Andres said this was not just a bad luck situation where, oops, we dropped the bomb in the wrong place. This was over 1.5 kilometers, 1.8 kilometers, with a very defined humanitarian convoy that had signs in the top, in the roof, a very colorful logo. It's very clear who we are and what we do. Gore added that the Israeli authorities were fully aware of the route, itinerary, and humanitarian mission of the convoy. Of course, well, and they also have AI that's supposed to be so good that they could determine without human interaction or intervention exactly who to target and when. So the AI is so good, but oops, we made a mistake with this one. Well, was it a mistake? Because over 350 humanitarian sites and aid convoys have been hit in Gaza since the October 7th false flag. Top UN official says nothing substantive has changed in the deconfliction system with Israeli military to protect aid workers after World Central Kitchen attack. Of course, they've done this multiple times. It just didn't reach the media in every single case. But of course, they're blowing up hospitals, they're blowing up churches. This is how Israel operates. They said themselves, Netanyahu said himself last year, remember what Amalek has done to you, and evoked a prophecy calling for the death of every man, woman, child, toddler, sucking at the teat, every animal, every dog, every sheep, every lamb. This is evil. This is absolute genocide. He's evoking genocide by saying that, and people say it's not genocide. When you say that you're targeting entire people, yes. Under the guise of your Jewish religion, yes. That is, and the Talmudic Zionism, yeah, that is genocide. But, we can't say Jews can be genocidal because it's anti-Semitic. Okay, that's like saying, the Soviets, you can't criticize the Soviets for killing 50 million people because that's anti-Soviet or whatever. Fuck it. They're mass murdering people. They're killing innocent men, women, and children. I will say whatever I want. Most of the people getting killed in Gaza are children. And they say, why don't they leave? Well, first, would you, if they came to the United States or Canada or wherever and say, get off your land, we're taking it over, do you want to leave peacefully? Second, if you look at a lot of these people trying to leave, they're blocked from leaving, and then their refugee camps where they're trying to leave are getting bombed, and then the rest of them are getting taken against their will and sent throughout Europe to be homeless. I mean, just remember that. I know there's a lot of problems with immigration around the world and refugees, big problems. I see it myself when I'm in Europe. But keep in mind that a lot of these people didn't choose this, and they're literally getting taken by the same government that they're then getting housed by later, and then being told that then they're hated by most people, and they're pulled away from their land, which is the same country that they're living in, blew up. I mean, my goodness, just part of that ethical part in mind. Remember, this is a script to drive people against each other and destroy Western civilization. They're being used as pawns in order to do that, for sure, and there's a lot of people that are being taken out of prison by European governments and sent to cities in order to cause chaos, for sure. But just keep some of this in mind, and I can't help but think of it in the face of everything we're seeing, because it's obviously a controlled collapse. But, yeah, they're targeting humanitarian missions, and we're seeing this out of Information Liberation. Israeli reporter says IDF commanders' orders are to just shoot every man in fighting age. And yet they still manage to kill mostly children. This is so evil. They're calling for a complete extermination. They've said the word exterminate multiple times. They're allowed to do that, but anyone else does that, and, you know, they're Hitler, apparently. Google staffers protest $1.2 billion Israel deal at offices in New York City, Seattle, and California. The protesters are part of a pro-Palestine group called No Tech for Apartheid and live streamed their storming of the headquarters in Sunnyvale, California on several social media platforms. Look, most of the protesters, you know, in favor of Palestine are complete idiots wearing masks and just total leftists, because that's how it's been designed. So that you get the conservatives completely hypocritical against Ukraine, rightly so, and the war in Ukraine, rightly so, but then bowing on to the boots of Israel at every turn, and being a complete hypocrite because we must save the Jews, apparently, even though they don't seem to want to save us as they bomb Christian churches, etc., and have actually directly attacked the United States on multiple occasions in the past, by the way. But with that said, you know, we have then the left on the other side that says we need war in Ukraine. We need to kill all these Russians and all that kind of stuff. But then Israel's bad. So, you know, both sides are partly right, both sides are partly wrong. The reality is both sides are wrong. Generally, when it comes to the flags that people bow to, Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Palestine, stop. Support people. Just be against evil. These are scripted world events that are meant to bring us to our knees. Cause fear. Cause conscription, as the UK government wants, as the American War College wants, and as Canada is calling for. Calling for the mass murder of men, women, and children and another war. We have to have learned from World War I, which was based in the false flag. We have to learn from World War II, which started off with the false flag and is completely lied about today in history books. And all these things led to massive resets that made everyone way less free. Well, this is a perfect example. All these countries involved in this world war right now were propped up by the same people, the same globalists, the same insane psychopathic warmongers and you know, money printers, the same people running at all these countries. Why do you think they all locked down? Why do you think Russia pushed vaccine passports? Why do you think Ukraine did? Why do you think Israel calls themselves the vaccine manufacturer of the world? Hey, conservatives, the vaccine factory of the world, Israel, which they brag about, covered up the fact that children were dying from these injections, knew about it. It all came out. Professor Shmuel Shapira came out and spoke out about it after he was injured by the injections, and he was the guy who was in charge of the rollout of the injections. And they of course, produced Epstein. They are the ones that the Mossad were behind Epstein and mass child trafficking. That doesn't sound very conservative. Oh, what about the fact that they're one of the main countries in the world pushing trans ideology on children? Oh, yeah, very conservative. My goodness. When will people learn that, and on the left, by the way, I don't think the Middle East is a big fan of your tranny stuff and your, you know, LGBTQ plus blah, 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 animal kind, you know, giraffe, lesbian giraffe, whatever the fuck you guys do. I don't think they're a big fan of that either. Having lived in the Middle East, I can tell you for sure that they aren't a big fan of that. They are playing with people's minds, confusing people, making them purposely hypocritical, and driving them against each other so that they don't fight the real enemies. The real enemies are the state, the controllers, the Zionists, the the Vatican, these groups of evil people that take over religions and misdirect people. And, you know, in independent media is a big part of that. Mainstream alternative media, as David Icke has been calling out for a while. You know, mainstream alternative media is saying this side or that side. Iran's right, Israel's right, or they'll say Russia's right or Ukraine's right. It's playing sides, and it's called a limited hangout. Tell part of the truth, but not the entirety of the truth in order to misdirect people from the entirety of the truth. That's a CIA term for psychological operation, and that creates controlled opposition. Then people never find the truth, are never able to be the change, and they're caught in an infinite loop cycle forever. And so mainstream and alternative media are complicit in this. This is why I'm not popular, because I refuse to bow to any of it. So this is what we're witnessing right now, an information war that is completely manipulating people on both sides instead of just being consistent and saying, I don't like these guys. I don't like these guys. I like human beings. I don't like these countries. I don't like these governments. No one's coming to save us from the government. Look in the mirror, my friends, and of course, trust in God, and remember that faith without work is dead. We are endowed with responsibilities. It's our responsibility to utilize them. No pun intended there. The idea is that humanity is based in individual responsibility, freedom, of course, independence, and these things are synonymous with humanity.
All right, there you have that good stuff right there. I think that broke down the New World Order all in a nutshell. I mean, if you weren't paying attention to that, and if tomorrow night you start talking about nonsense, then shame on you, because that pretty much, I've done several of these over the years, and I finally dug one up to that now because I see the mind of the people slipping. People are getting involved with, nonsense. Like, for instance, here in my county, the property taxes, which we saw happening around the rest of the country, and it's finally hit here. They want to raise the value of everybody's home, and everybody's taxes are going to go up 60, 70, 80, 90, 100%. And everybody, let's go down there and talk to the county. Let's go down there and talk. They don't care. It's a waste of time. They don't represent you. They represent a corporation. They're a municipality. Okay? They're de facto. They don't represent you. Besides, if you want to protest something, don't pay it. Don't pay the king. All right? Or guess what? Go register your land. Get a land patent, a land allodial. Okay? Look into that. Look up that, land allodium. Look up that and see. Tell me what you find. Instead of paying off your house and getting a warranty deed where you're a tenant on your own land and you still have to pay rent. Okay? But you can't have this discussion with people. You can't have that discussion because they're all blinded and they're into the tribalism and follow the herd. I'm not sure. Hey, I don't like you. Yeah, Republican, Democrat. Yeah, Trump. Hey, I can't stand that Joe Biden. You never hear me talk about Joe Biden. You never hear me talking about this nonsense. They're Democrats. Never. And I ran for office. You never heard me bash the Democrats because it's irrelevant. They're both of the same side of the coin. It's the same thing, Republican, Democrat. It's the same darn thing. The same fake money funds both sides. Okay? And you're going to get the same thing when the Republicans get in there. When Trump gets in, you get the same thing. Everybody's going to say the economy's doing great. And gas prices shot down to $18. Gas was $1.29 when Trump was president. No, it was not. It was about $3 a gallon. $2.60 or $2.40. It went down $2.42 one time for about a week, and that was it. Other than that, it jacked right back up to $3 a gallon. Gas prices were low. Trump did it. Yeah, it's because of that pipeline. Stop with that tribalism crap. Yes, of course, Trump is a better manager of the corporation than Joe Biden. Of course. But he is a CEO of the corporation. You have got to get back your republic. When Trump's in there, all their MAGA supporters should step to him and say, okay, do what you said. Restore the republic. Let's go. Come on, end the Fed. Let's go. Start doing what you say you're going to do. He'll flip-flop. I bet he would. Because he was in there for 4 years, and he didn't do that much compared to what he said he was going to do. Hillary didn't get prosecuted, did she? Okay? And the wall was not built, all right? And whatever was built got holes in it right now anyway, so big freaking deal, all right? So big deal. I just don't understand people. And we'll go over this stuff, and the same crap will be talked about again on other podcast shows. I'm going to stop listening to other podcast shows. I really am. I'm going to stop participating. I'm going to stop telling people to go to them because I don't see people coming over to mine. And I don't see the same, and the things that I talk about, they're talking about the exact opposite now. I see, we started out good with something, 8, 9 of us there, but now it's faded away again. We're right back to soap opera time, like General Hospital there on the podcast now, and we're all half in the bag by second half of the show, Come on, man. What the heck is wrong with you? Either we're patriots or we're not. Either you're with me or you're not. That's all there's to it. You know? I mean, I say the same thing all the time. Never do I flip-flop. And if I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong. Damn it, man. Can't stand it. You're talking about the same crap, man. Trump. Fanny. That's all I heard last on the other show the other night. Man, I had to hang up. I had to go watch TV. Go watch TV instead of listening to alternative media. Imagine that. Because I wasn't getting none. It was making my brain stupid, listening to the damn shows. Turning into a dummy. You know? I mean, come on, man. What's wrong with me? And then this other one, you know, and then, I don't know. I just don't, I'm about ready to just give up. I mean, whatever happens, happens. Why try to change it, you know? I mean, I don't know. What the hell? And people say, oh, don't give up, you know, yeah, I know you got to, you know, yeah, but damn, what the hell am I fighting for in the end? What's the end result here? If we're all that, I mean, I just don't see where everybody's going. And then they go one extreme to the other. Like this guy was just talking about individual freedom, independent, sovereign, self-governing. That's what we are supposed to be here in America. That's who we are as Americans. It's a damn shame that we're not. How could we allow these people to get away with what they're getting away with? Sending all this money over to get involved. We don't need to get involved with that crap over there. Stay away from it. That's all there's to it. Stay away from it. We don't need to be involved with it. I mean, we should be worried about trying to create infrastructure here and build things and create things and to do what made us great. Inventions, creativity. You know, but now we got an entire population, this melting pot. You know, nobody knows who the hell they are anymore. You know, we got everybody that's just really. I mean, there's no cultural sense or history or family orientated anything anymore. It's one big melting pot of garbage. That's what we've become. Don't get it. I don't understand. Where are you? And even, you know, every side is stupid because they just, like I said, they just go one extreme to the other. I mean, what the hell's happened, man? What the hell has happened? I don't understand. You know, 657-383-0616. I know I didn't advertise the show. I know I did one last night, and I did it last night because Tuesday night I had everything freaking lined up. People coming on, everything, all, you know, and freaking Blog Talk pulls its crap. You know, 9 years, not one problem with Blog Talk. All of a sudden now, it's been 5 times now they've been shut down. What the hell? And there's no other platforms out there that offer a call-in service. None. So this is the only one that's got the idea here of where we can get a call. The call-in line is what the feature is what everybody really likes. You know, because it gives you the sense of something like a radio show, you know, and that's what it is. But I'm just saying, it gives you like, you know, you're listening to your car radio. People can call in. Anyone's listening. You can listen via the internet, listen via your phone, and then if you want, you can just call in sporadically. You get no other platform out there offers that. Yeah, TalkShoe does. Yeah, 7 callers. Big deal. 7 callers? What the hell am I going to do with 7 callers? You know? When I do my show on Tuesday night, I got, you know, 10, 20, 30 callers on my show. You know, at once listening. What the hell am I going to do with that 7 callers? You know, besides that stupid talking, stupid crap, you know. It's like a joke, like a cartoon. You know, and then another person told me Spreaker. No, Spreaker doesn't offer that. You know, yeah, if you want to go Google Voice or something like that, I'm not doing that nonsense. You know, so nobody really offers any call-ins, call-in lines, or Blog Talk's the only one. And then, you know, like I said, it's just, really basically, it's not, oh, yeah, there's a Gunslinger there. Yeah, Gunslinger, you want to talk? I see you 214. I don't know if you pressed 1 or not. Maybe it's not working. Who the hell knows? I'll unmute you if you want to talk. All right, here you go. I see you. You must not be working. Who knows? Go ahead there.
it's not working. I tried punching the one, punch.
Yeah.
And
Figured.
No response. It figured, but you know what to expect. It's a blog talk radio. Turn it into, no doubt about it. But here lies the problem with what you've been saying. Unless you got money, okay, and lots of it, or you are heavily armed and lots of it, and you can get the people to get off their lazy cushions, okay, that's the only way you're going to change this. Okay?
I know. Yeah.
I hate to say it.
You're right about the money. You're right about the money. You got to have a carnival.
Yeah.
You know, you got to sponsor a carnival for them all to come to. You know.
Yeah, small country there. Yeah, I'll give you a classic example. When I got kicked out of my property of 44 years because of an illegal foreclosure, okay, I had 15 cops in my house. 15.
Wow.
Jackbooted. The bastards looked like they were Army. Had automatic machine guns. I had one of the machine guns pointing in my fucking face. Okay? Now, could I have fought back? Probably. I had an AK-47. I had 14,000 rounds of ammo. But I probably wouldn't be sitting here if I did.
Nope.
Okay?
No, you'd be dead.
Nope.
Yeah.
I would be gunned down. Okay? No doubt about it. They wouldn't give a flying flip what you was, what you are, who you stood for, what you didn't stand for, or whatever. You'd be dead. Okay?
You're right.
Because I'm only one person. And until the people get off their ass and start doing something, and it ain't, you know, if voting worked, it would have solved this problem 40 years ago. If it truly worked. If it truly worked. Now, thank God that Trump got in there, and he did do a lot of things. Yeah, he's a man. Nobody's perfect. I didn't see God on the ballot. Blah, 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 blah. Okay?
Yeah. No,
nobody's perfect. Okay? Trump's not going to solve everything. He's not the Messiah. He's not God. Okay? But at least he started the situation in the right direction. Okay?
Oh, yeah, he didn't get off our ass and do anything. That's the problem. The people didn't do anything, you know?
Can you imagine if we had Hitler in 2016? We'd be in World War III right now. Joe Blow wouldn't have nothing to do with it. We'd be in World War III, probably with China and Russia, probably at the same freaking time, and throw in Rocket Boy as a backup.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
You talk about me, it would be, boy. So,
yeah, we had 4
would you
years
rather
of peace,
have,
that's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So would you rather have Trump's antics, made a few bad decisions, okay, or would you want half the freaking world destroyed? Your choice.
Yeah.
You live here on this planet. What choice? Is it either death or destruction?
Oh, yeah. I want Trump. Yeah, I want Trump in there other than Biden.
Absolutely.
But like you said, he's not the savior. You know, we've got to do something. We've got to do something.
He never was and he never will be, okay? And considering I live in a border state, Texas, okay, he did build the wall. He didn't have time to finish it. If he had time to finish it, hopefully, we better get in there. Hopefully when he gets in there, that he will be able to finish the wall, okay? And the wall, when it's finished, it's going to, here in Texas, it's already reduced these illegal things from coming in by 95%.
Really?
Okay, 95%. The reduction of the wall until they started letting them in. Okay, but when it first came up, when it first was built here in Texas, illegal immigration dropped like a rock.
Yeah, I remember them talking about it a lot on Fox News and everything. You know, the border crisis when Trump was in there, but I don't remember the numbers and how many were coming across. I kind of forgot that in a way.
It was 5,000 and 6,000, 7,000 a day at that time, and when the wall went up, it dropped to 95. Mm-hmm. I'm sure the Border Patrol was sitting around there twiddling their thumbs, wanting something to do because there wasn't that many people coming over. So the concept of the wall works. It works. Mm-hmm. Okay, you just got to finish the damn thing. And because the demo rats, the evil demon rats cheated in 2020. Trump didn't have the chance to finish the wall out. Hopefully he'll have this chance this time. Better. Okay. So we can reduce that number of these illegals coming into this country, like I said, by 95%. And deport the ones that are already here. You know, you want to take a bite out of crime? Let's take a bite. And was taking a bite out of crime, man. He was deporting these son of bitches left and right. You know, gang members and all these yaks, you know, which they should be. They have no reason to be in this country except one thing, and that is to create chaos.
Yeah,
crime.
take advantage, yep.
Drugs.
Yep.
I mean, robberies, everything going up and up. Look at what they're doing in New York City, for God's sake. Stores are moving out because they're getting robbed. They're getting robbed 2 or 3 times a week. Did you hear that happening when Trump was in there? I didn't hear it.
No.
I'm on the damn news every damn day, and I got 1, 2, 3. I got 4 computers running here. Okay, even then. So
I do remember the protests, though. I do remember a lot of the protests in the streets when Trump was president. A lot of the streets were, you know, there was a lot of crap going on. You know, remember they were burning down cities everywhere.
Burning the thing, yeah. That was maybe one of his mistakes that he made. I would have sent the National Guard in, okay, and it would have been curtailed pretty much overnight, because you can't let. Yeah, you've got a right to protest in this country, obviously, yeah. All right, but when you start burning people inside of a building, that's getting a little bit too far, okay?
Yeah.
Right? All for the wrong reasons. Okay, if it was a good reason, like trying to reform the government, well, violence does work. Go ask the founding fathers if violence did or did not work. I think they would say it worked. Okay.
Yeah.
Violence can be used in certain circumstances. Okay, not all the time. It can be a good.
BLM
it can be a bad.
used it.
Yeah.
BLM sure used it. You know.
So until we get violent with these criminals and everything that are, and these illegals, which these illegals are turning into criminals because they were criminals from the cesspool that they come from. They were criminals over there, so we have no way to check them over here because they don't have a record here yet. Okay, so you know they're gang members, they're MS-13, they're all kind. I mean, I was watching some different documentaries on these damn people. I swear to God, these people are evil son of bitches. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, they I hate to say it, but they need to be exterminated like cockroaches.
Yeah.
This place would be a better place. This world, this country, and this world would be a better place without them. And that goes for liberals and the far left. Imagine a world without liberals. My God, this country.
Yeah. What a great place we could have.
This country would oh my God, the things that we could do if it wasn't for the liberal agenda.
The progressive agenda has started since the turn of the century. Yeah, that's really hit this country, and it's done a number on us. But at the same time, we allowed it. We allowed it to happen, you know, because of our compassion for it. You know.
Look how much smarter the kids would be when they graduated school if they'd stop this indoctrination and drag queen hour. I want to be a man. I want to be a woman. I want to be a goddamn dog. Okay?
Yeah. Well, you remember that night we were on that show? Remember that night we were on the show and Mike was called in and I was arguing with him? Everybody demonized me, well, except for you. You know, they were demonizing me. You're the bad guy now. You know, you're a racist. You need to calm down. You know, no, that guy's trying to get us into World War III. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't give a shit about no damn Iran.
I don't either. These people, the Muslims are the most evil persons along with the Jews. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
It's the truth. Yep. The truth hurts. I'm sorry. The truth hurts. Okay? You go do your research and you will see that they have, well, gee whiz, does any of your friends put people in cages and set them on fire? Does any of your friends chop their heads off? None of my friends does that. Okay? So here you go. It's like I've said. You put all these people, especially, you put the Muslims in one barrel, and you put the Jews over here in the other barrel, and it's just like a barrel of apples. All it takes is one bad apple to rotten the whole freaking barrel. So, not my fault. That's their fault. They're the ones that did it. They're the ones that did it to themselves.
Look at this one. Did you see this story out of Indianapolis? This is where this mother, she's on crystal meth, kills her baby, and the judge lets her off. Not guilty.
Yeah.
Not guilty. Lets her off.
Absolutely. Not guilty. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. It's insane.
I can't believe it.
Insane. You know, I don't know what
he gives her a lecture, too. He gives her a lecture. He says, well, now you can't use drugs when you're supervising children. What? What?
There was another one. There was another one today that this idiot, I'll let you guess what color they are, but was poisoning their baby with antifreeze because he didn't want to pay child support.
Oh, my God.
You know, poisoning the kid, the baby, with antifreeze because he didn't want to pay child support. Does that show you some smart IQ? Really? 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 God.
What the hell? I mean, I just can't believe it. And Indianapolis, I mean, people should be marching the streets. They should be closing that courthouse down tomorrow. You know? I mean, they should be protesting. You let somebody out that killed a child, that judge should be recalled. He should be recalled. You know, reported. That's wrong. That's wrong. I can't believe this. I mean, I'm not for mob rule, but damn.
Well, that's another one of the problems in this country is these damn judges. They're the ones that are letting people go with just a kiss on the lips and a slap on the ass, and don't do it now again, little Johnny. Okay, and then just keep doing it. They just keep doing it over and over and over. Got to stop. If you don't stop, how's it going to change? It's not.
I mean, we're always going to have some bad decision makers out there. We're not going to ever have a perfect society. We're always going to, you know, but it doesn't mean we can't work towards making it better. We're not doing that today.
We don't, you know, we wouldn't need all this crap if we had a utopian society. You know what that is? It's a perfect society.
Well, yeah, of course.
But we don't. I don't think we ever will. Okay? But you can, there's improvements that you can make. You'll never reach utopian status, obviously. But there are improvements that you can make where it may be a little bit better. It may, you know, it's better than what it is now. Anything's better than what it is now. So that's a right step.
Yeah, I think my chat room just shut off on me. There we go. Is my chat room just shut off on me? No, there it is. I'm going to say, who the heck knows what's going on with Blog Talk? Blog Talk Radio is something. I don't know what. I can't trust it anymore. I don't know how reliable it is. I don't know I don't know what's going on.
Well, they're going down just like the rest of them, okay? Because when I first started on Blog Talk Radio 13 years ago now, my God, I'm getting old. Jesus. But when I first started there were page after page after. There was 25, 30, 40 pages.
Here we go. Just in. Hang on. Time out. Just got this from my military guy right now. They're striking targets in Iraq, and officials have confirmed that Israeli aircraft have struck locations in Iran, Syria, and Iraq, with focus on Iran's possible nuclear facilities. Crude oil is up 2% in the last 30 minutes. Gold is moving, and stock market futures are nosediving right now. Get ready, because this could be the beginning right now. That's what I just got from a military guy. So
there you go.
Right and another guy just sent me a text with the same thing. Yep. And this guy. Yep. Wow. So guys, you heard it first right here. Mm-hmm. You know, you won't see it on Fox News until by mid-morning. You heard it first right here. So this could be World War III right now. Assholes going over. You know, they don't need to be doing what they're doing. I cannot believe that's because of Biden. Now I'm mentioning Biden. Biden, you know, foreign policy.
Foreign policy, all that crap.
I can't believe this, man.
They're all, you know, the demon rats are warmongers. They want war. They want to keep the drums of war beating 24/7. Trump's not a warmonger. Was there any conflict when Trump was in there. No. Because he knew how to negotiate. He knew how to keep peace. He has to treat the rest of the world like shit-filled little diaper babies. That's how you got to treat them, okay? Because they're nothing but they're children. Look at Rocket Boy.
Yep.
He's just an overgrown kid.
Yeah, I know. Remember that? Remember that? What was going on?
Yeah.
I mean, he shut down North Korea real good. He made peace with them, huh? That was pretty good.
Peace with them. I mean, when you seen the clip when he was over there in South Korea, and he walked up to that border, no guards, no nothing, and he stepped across and shook the guy's hand, and they talked. In a demilitarized zone or whatever it is, that border right there, that line. I mean, how many presidents do you know have done that? They could have shot his ass dead, started that war off again. Well, it was never ended. It was just a ceasefire situation. But yeah, can you imagine? I mean, how many's done that? None of them. You think Biden?
No,
he wouldn't have
Biden
enough
can't even talk. Can't even talk, the idiot.
He can't even talk.
You know?
I mean, wow. Ooh. Ay.
I mean, the guy's nuts in the head. I mean, first of all, he's senile. I mean, how could we elect somebody like that? Who would vote? Who in their right mind would vote for somebody like that? Why would you do that? I mean,
I wish I was a psychologist. I should have been a psychologist. Instead of being a master electrician, electrical engineer, I should have been a freaking psychologist. Then I'd understand how screwball and stupid people are. Now, most of them are stupid. There's a lot of them that are uneducated, okay? But that leads to stupidity. I mean, if you're uneducated, that leads to stupidity. But even a small child at a certain age knows right from wrong. It's like, it's like little Johnny, you don't put your hand in that nookie jar. You might get some stuff on you. They know the difference. I know. I knew it when I was that age. And I didn't turn out to be no freaking criminal or mass murderer or mass shooter or any of these other idiots, but like that. But where did it fail? It failed somewhere. It failed.
Where did it fail? Where did this fail at?
Yeah, that would be a good question, and I think it wasn't overnight, like FedEx or UPS. It didn't occur overnight. This occurred over decades, probably all the way back when we were in school. I graduated in '83. Okay, you didn't have that crap going on then, but as it progressed a little bit, 10 years, I think probably about 10 years. Look how it started to go up. You had more shootings, you had more mass shootings, you had more school shootings, crime in general was going up, okay? So it had started right there. Because, and I guess when you went to school there, when I went to school there down here in Texas, the rednecks in the school had guns in their trucks. I had guns in my
Remember
car.
That? No, in northern New Hampshire, in the mountains. Yep, the kids used to come to school with shotguns and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I had a 20 gauge right there behind my seat in my car. The principal knew about it. The teachers knew about it. Hell, the goddamn police knew about it. No problem.
I'm trying to see where this guy's getting this from. I had two people just sent me a message saying the same thing, and I can't verify it. I hope the heck I just didn't say something that's not true. But I got two messages saying that this happened. So, I mean, it was bound to happen anyway. I can't seem to find nothing though on the internet right now. I don't know where they're getting it from.
Yeah, you need to move.
Well, this is the reports I got, folks. So, I mean, and they're saying oil is is already up 2%, and the stock market's getting ready to tank. So, in other places that they're also opening up across the world. So that's what I heard. I got two people, one text message, one through another piece of information, way that I get information, not through my computers or social media crap. It's another way I get. There's an app that you can download, folks. I don't know if you know about it or not. I'll tell you, or I guess it's safe to say right now. You can go to Atlas. I don't know if you ever heard of it, Gunslinger. go to Atlas, and what it does, it can secure your emails from anyone trying to hack into it, and it'll let you know if anyone tries to dive into your system. You know, like trying to hack into your system.
Right. I've heard of something like that. Yeah, it rings a bell.
Yeah. It's Atlas. That's what it's called. So that's what not too many people know about it. You know. So, but it's available to everybody. So, but I can't find nothing on the internet in mainstream. But that's usually how it works anyway. I'll get information a couple hours before it actually happens. But I don't ever talk about it because sometimes it don't come true. You know what I mean?
No.
I don't know. I don't know. What the heck is this guy talking about now? I don't know. But, I mean, this is serious business. This is World War III, if this is true, you know. This is World War III. That's what's going to happen right now. I mean, and oil, we're talking gas prices. You're talking $8 a gallon now if we hit Iran, which I don't understand because we don't get nothing from Iran. But they'll say that'll shut down the whole corridor, I guess, or, you know, which I don't understand anyway. I mean, and we don't have enough reserves because he's already depleted. Biden depleted them.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Look what he did. Look what he did to the country. He shut off that pipeline and all that stuff. And, you know, the gas was low under Trump, at least down here, because we are a refinery state because there's all the refineries are down there on the coast of Texas. You know, Baytown, all them places downtown.
So you're talking $8 a gallon gas. You know, $8 a gallon gas. If this is truly, if these two sources have provided me with information that's true right now, that you know, so. I mean, one guy I know is in the military. Another guy I know, he's not in the military, but he has connections across the globe. So, you know, and I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how reliable the sources are, folks. But from what I heard, I don't know if it's true, but supposedly we've attacked places in Syria, Iran, and Iraq, nuclear facilities. They've attacked and bombed, supposedly. And oil has already skyrocketed 2%. And the stock market that's opening up across the world is nosediving. So that's from what I heard. I cannot verify it right now. So don't know. Don't know 100% for sure, guys. So if this is true, though, I guarantee you we are in World War III if this has happened. And if Russia has already vowed to back Iran, so we don't know. You just don't know. I know they've been moving nukes around. I know that. That was confirmed. So I don't know. I just don't know. It's crazy time, man. You know, I can tell you right now, you know, if the Bible's true, you know, then, you know, we'll be out of here soon. If the Bible's true, if it's true and you're left behind, you're in trouble. You know, so, you know, like I said, I would pray to God right now because this is serious business. I mean, this is very serious. It can escalate any moment. And I can tell you right now, in World War III, Russia has nuclear submarines, and we do too. And with our military right now, as weak as it is, if we had a strategic leader in there, strategic, you know, someone who knew what they were doing, our nuclear subs can hit Russia's sites in 14 minutes. They can launch from their submarines with non-detection too. 14 minutes. That means Putin would have 14 minutes to react. And you know he controls everything in that country. So that means he'd have to give a decision within 14 minutes to launch. And we would, of course, hit, I think they've got 600 silos or something, or 600 missiles that are, because that we don't know, supposedly they're not in great condition. They could falter, but they're deep in the ground, so they don't even know if our bunker busters our nuclear warheads can hit, you know, penetrate them. I would imagine they could. You know, but then, you know, like I said, they've got bombers. They've got mobile nukes, too, which that's very hard to detect. You know, that can reach us. So, and the targets all our silos are in Wyoming, Montana, and Colorado. So we got in that circled area right there. We got all our nuclear silos, and then of course we've got, you know, our fighters that can carry them, and we've got about 14 nuclear submarines. That's what I think we've got. 14 nuclear submarines that hold 200 nukes. Can launch 200 nukes apiece. So that could wipe out anything right there. So, and those subs are they can't be detected. so nobody they can't detect them. So they're like stealth. So I did a little research on this stuff. I was like, well, what would happen? But I'll tell you right now, if a nuclear war happens, it's pretty much if we get hit. I mean, we can knock a lot of their stuff out of the sky, a lot of it, but I think they said like 30 to 40% would get through. So if you're in Alaska, I would say you're pretty much safe, from what I hear. But you're gonna get the fallout. But here in North Carolina, I'm dead. I'm vaporized.
Even in Alaska, remember that's just a hop, skip, and a jump to Russia.
Yeah,
you can walk across that,
you're right.
That little, whatever they call that little strait over there between Alaska and Russia, which they say it freezes solid during the winter. You can walk right across the thing to Russia. It's only like a mile or 2 miles.
Yeah, that's true. You're right about that. So
Russia,
I wonder if we got any subs over there ready to hit. But there's not. It's all barren land up there. All of Russia's nukes are pretty much set by near Moscow. You got a lot of Russia that's just barren, abandoned. It's all snow and ice. Go to Siberia. It's nothing but prison camps. A couple prison camps up there. That's about it. Gulags. But I heard Noah's Ark is buried up there in Siberia underneath the ice. So who knows? But
who knows?
I don't know. That's pretty chilling though. When people send out messages like that, I hope it's legit. What's happening. So I was told bunker down. That's what they said to me at the end, and they said bunker down. So usually that means see what happens. I don't know. The thing of it is they're not going to tell us anything. You really think the Fox News is going to get up there and say we're under a nuclear attack? You really think those newscasters are going to do the hell no? You'll still be playing rock and roll music on the radio. All of a sudden you're just get knocked out. That's it. This is. I remember in the 1980s we used to actually, when I remember in middle school, they used to have nuclear drills. When I was in middle school in the 1980s, early 1980s, I remember us having to go to a safe room. It was a nuclear drill. I remember that. So they stopped that now, but that's how serious it was in the 1980s. If anybody remembers, this was some serious stuff. And I remember actually my father told me about the Kennedy thing. You were around back then, huh? When the Kennedy, the missile crisis, when they found the missile point. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty serious. So
well,
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, with that type of situation like the Cuban Missile Crisis and Russia shit, and this supposedly,
I think I got a private caller, gunslinger. Because you said the one keypad's not working, right? That's what you said. Well, I'll unmute them in case they want to. If you don't want to talk, don't say nothing. But the one thing is not working. So if you want to talk, I don't know. So I'm just go ahead and unmute you. If you want to talk, go ahead.
It wasn't working for me on Skype.
I don't know. So I know you were trying to press one for a while.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, with the Cold War, okay, that was going on, for decades. Okay.
Yeah.
Even today, really, the Cold War is still going on. Okay. We got these B-52 bombers that are nuclear capable of probably. Flying. They're probably flying missions from here to Russia and back and forth, loaded with them damn nuclear bombs right over your head, I would imagine. Okay?
Yeah.
That's what they were doing back then, so why give up a good thing, So I would be a bit surprised. Well,
we had those talks, though. That they had to do denuclearization talks. I think it was Daddy Bush or the other, one of the presidents. I forgot who it was. But they were talking about eliminating the nuclear capabilities of a lot of these missiles. And I think I'm not sure what president it was. I remember that talk, and what an opportunity that would have been, for us to get rid of the, and then make a rule. These global leaders want global peace so bad they could have made a rule. Anyone who tries to achieve nuclear domination or try to invent a nuclear weapon, that's it. You get attacked. All the rest of the countries will attack you. Because nuclear is a pussy way of fighting a war, if you ask me. I'll kill you right now, you kill me. You know what I mean? Pushing a button. A bunch of cowards. That's a coward's man's war.
We'll kill everybody because it doesn't specifically kill one. Look at the bombs they dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Look at the devastation that it did. Just two little bitty bombs damn near destroyed that country of Japan. Okay.
Well, it's destroyed
Hiroshima. Yeah, and people are still dying
wiped them out
today.
Yeah.
People are still dying today because of the cancer rates, because of radiation.
Yeah, stuff you don't hear about. Stuff you don't hear about after that happened. And the Earth, imagine the atmosphere, the damage that was done to the Earth and the Pacific Ocean at that time. They don't talk about that,
No, they won't talk about that. No, no. So.
Well, scary times right now, man. Evil. Scary times. Yeah, it's evil. To invent a bomb like that, Well, I mean, I don't know. You had World War II was going on. You had everyone racing to make better weapons to win the war. I mean, obviously you want to do that, but I don't know. You know what it is? It's we fought the wrong enemy in World War II. We should have wiped out the damn Stalin. Stalin was an evil bastard. We made a deal with the devil. Yeah. Made a deal with the communist devils, and look what it cost us after that. Just think it could cost us our end.
The United States government is not no angel either. Okay.
No, you don't.
They're just they're in it just cahoots with them just as much as anybody else is. Because remember what happened? What was that Bikini Atoll when they first tested the atomic bomb, nuclear atomic, the same thing. Hell, it's radiation. Radiation is radiation. Okay. Remember what they tested? This has been documented by some of the survivors that was on those ships out there. They put those ships out there with crewmen on board, sailors. And when they detonated that thing, there was two or three of them.
Yep, it happened. Yep, it happened. Huge explosions in Iran. Yep.
Yeah. That's still.
It's on the internet now. Yeah, it happened. So. It's true. The reports are true. Huge explosions in Iran. Stocks are tumbling. Oil prices are soaring. That's from InfoWars right now on the ticker tape. So that's confirmed. So I told you guys first. How about that, huh? So yeah.
Always good.
Thanks to my sources. Those are my sources. So I got to thank my sources for giving me accurate information, I guess. So it looks like we're heading towards World War III, folks. I mean, anybody got any comments? You can call in 657-383-0616. Who knows? I know we're on probably DEFCON 1 right now, so who knows? I mean, who knows? This is crazy, man. Crazy times. Why would they do, if they attacked Iran, if the United States and Israel attacked Iran, I'm going to tell you something right now. This is a rogue. This government had no business getting involved. None whatsoever. None. Israel started this. Israel struck first. Now they started this. Okay, they had no business attacking and killing those people up there. They had no business doing that. And why would they do that anyway? They had their little problem in Gaza. They should have been worried about that. They want this conflict. I played it in the beginning of the show tonight, folks. Listen to how I played it. I outlined it. It's fitting how I played that tonight. I played the whole agenda of the New World Order tonight for 20 minutes. Everything that's going on, who's involved, the players, why they're doing it, and played that, and then I get information about this, and then this happens. Isn't that interesting? I swear I didn't know it.
You also got to realize that these people are not the smartest box of rocks. They're not the smartest rocks. I mean, I'm sorry, they're fucking dumbasses. Okay.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of dumbasses here in the United States too, no doubt about that. But over there, it seems like they're even more of a dumbass because they've been fighting each other for hundreds of years now. I mean, hundreds of years they've been fighting each other. I don't think they even know what they're fighting each other for now. They're just fighting.
Yeah. Thousands of years, gunslinger. Gunslinger, thousands of years.
Yeah, thousands of years. So.
We're fighting over
how are you going to control something that they've been killing each other for thousands of years or not? Okay, not our power, not man's power. That's for damn sure. Mm-hmm. But then you got these people like he was the guy that she was arguing with. Was it Mike character or whatever his name was?
Yeah, Mike, the Iranian guy. Yeah.
Yeah, they're the problem. Okay. They just, peaceful, pray to Allah. Please, really? It ain't going to work that way.
I
hate to tell you that, but it's going to work that way. You can say please all day long till you faint and fall back in it, and it ain't going to do you a damn bit of good. Okay?
I got Adam going to be calling in a minute. He's going to be calling in. Adam's old patriot from that I've known for years now. He's a pretty smart guy. He works for the city up there in Ohio. So he's a good guy. I think you've heard him. He hasn't called in for a few months, but he used to call in a lot a couple of years ago when we talked about this stuff. So an old patriot, he used to be a part of the militia community. He got out of it because of the nonsense, which was smart, because they were just going to bring him down anyway. But anyway, this is serious stuff, man, guys. This serious stuff that's going on right now around the world. And, I would say that pray and don't, and try to, if you, be vocal with your government right now. They're in control of your life. They're doing this. This is what they're doing. They own you. They control you. Let's break the chains of control. We don't have to allow this control. I'm not saying go out there and commit anarchy or violence, but disobedience, civil disobedience. We could shut this country down if we all just stayed home tomorrow. You know that? We don't have to participate in this devil stuff. We don't have to participate in killing innocent people. That's what this is all about. Destroying humanity. We don't have to do this, man. Life is more important. Wanting to live to see tomorrow is more important than these bankers wanting to control and make profits. They want to kill us all. They don't like us. They can't stand it. Remember, they want the population of this earth down to 500,000, a manageable group that will do their bidding. That's what they want. And their AI robots monitoring that 500,000, like standing guard. That's what they want, man. It's disgusting. Let me see if Adam wants to talk. I see his number. The one's not working. So let me see. 614. That's Adam. I didn't recognize the number. What's up, brother?
One's not working.
What's that? I think I lost him. He got disconnected, dead zone. He was going through. He was driving. He said he's leaving work right now, so he's trying to call in. I lost you, Adam. He got disconnected. Son of a gun. Who knows what's going on? I'll tell you what, though. Last night I had Mike on from Florida, and I could barely hear him. He kept breaking up on me. So, guys, when you call in, 657-383-0616, the one is not working. The people that want to notify me that want to speak. So for me to unmute you, I won't know. So I'll just have to unmute you. You'll have to mute yourself, I guess. And if I unmute you, because I know some people tried calling in already, and they push one and they can't, and I'm not seeing it. So, and I know I don't like to make people wait. So, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. What were you saying now, Gunslinger? I didn't mean to interrupt you because I had Adam calling in there. Who knows what's going on? We could lose internet for all I know.
Like I said, these people that are these international bankers, they're the main problem, okay, with the whole thing, because they're the one that the shakers and the makers of the money across the globe, not just in the United States, but across the globe. It's these Rothschilds and Soros and all them Jewish bastards. They're the ones doing it. They're the ones perpetrating. They're the ones that perpetrated all the world wars. Every conflict that is on the face of this planet, including the United States, has been perpetrated by those bastards right there. Go do your research. Okay, I have.
Yeah.
And it goes back a long, long time. It's a pawn game. It's a chess game to them.
Yeah.
And they're playing with people's lives, and they don't. And that's why they're so evil.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Is they're in control of people's lives, and that's what it's all about. I told you. Look at the Georgia Guidestones. They wanted 500,000. That's what they want for the last. But this is true stuff, folks. You can call conspiracy theory all you want. We see what's happening around the world right now. Okay, they want 500,000 people left on this earth. The rest of us they want to kill off. That's their plan. And they do. They speak with evil. This is confirmed, too. I spoke to somebody a couple of weeks ago about this. I just wanted to know. I asked him. I said, because he knows, I guess he told me, he says he's dealt with the elites and stuff, and he's had conversations with them. And I said, is it true that they really speak to people from the other side and they're evil? And he said, yeah, oh, yeah. So they converse with evil. Satan, maybe. I don't know. And that's frightening. That's scary. Because I would believe it. Because what would possess people to act like this, Gunslinger? What would possess people to hate humanity this much?
Well, the devil himself. What do you expect? Look at what Alex Jones, and a lot of people may think he's a nutcase, and he said a lot of things that were pretty out there, pretty far out there. But he said a lot of things that were right on spot too. Okay, I give credit where credit deserves. Okay, I've met the man a couple times down in Waco. Okay, personally, when we were down there seeing that debacle. Oh yeah, I've met him. I met him once in Austin at a gun rally, and I met him twice at the rededication to that church they had down there in Waco at the Branch Davidian, which I have no associate with their religion. That's their religion, not mine. Yeah. Only reason I got involved or anything that I went down there is because the way the government treated them. Yeah. Okay?
There's Adam again. There he is. Let me see. I think I can get him now. There he is. Well, that's good. I didn't know you met Alex Jones. Yeah. Wow. I've conversed with their staff on that. That's about it. What's up, Adam? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You got me?
I can hear you. I know you're driving. right now. I can hear the background noise. So what do you think, man? It looks like we're heading towards World War III. It's confirmed.
Well, we've been heading there for a while. It's like they weren't going to take no for an answer for sure. So they've got their war that they wanted and we're all going to pay for it.
Yes, good point, Adam. We've been talking about this stuff for years, huh?
Yep. It's been a long time coming. So here it is at our doorstep. So the economic collapse or whatever EMP that they're going to blame on the Iranians, whatever they're planning to do is coming.
Yeah.
They've been they've been planning something for a while. So
well, my question is this, Adam: are you prepared? Are you and your family prepared?
Can you prepare for something like this? Really, truly? I mean,
I don't know, Adam. That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah, I would say that I've not been unaware that this was coming. Am I as prepared as I would have liked to have been? No, the infamous the powers that be, whoever's actually directing this garbage, because we all know that Joe Biden couldn't manage his way out of a paper bag if he wanted to. So whoever it is that is actually pulling the strings on all this, they crushed us with their economy and all of that long before, with COVID and everything else, and made it virtually impossible to truly prepare for what they're doing. And that's the point. So they wanted to finish looting the wealth of what was left of the middle class. Now that we're all in utter poverty, they're ready to pull the trigger. There's nothing really left for them. No more blood from the turnip that they can get. So they're ready to just go ahead and start with the mass genocide. That's what I would assume this is going to be. And, I guess I'm as prepared as I can be. So
I know it's sad. It's sad. No, I know you couldn't prepare, but like you said, we've talked about this for years. But what about your children and your wife? I mean, what's going on? How you been doing with that?
Well, it's been very short-sighted on behalf of my now ex-wife. We ended up divorcing in January. So preparing with her hasn't been a thing. She's kind of understands what's going on in the world, but she doesn't want to cooperate with me in doing it because of the modern feminist movement. It's just created a strong, independent woman thing that makes them totally uncooperative, and that she is what she is, I guess. I fear for my children there in particular, because if things get really bad, I'm not going to be able to get 900 miles across the country to protect them. And she's not capable. She's just not capable of doing it.
Yeah.
Modern society only allows for that existence because we are a civil society, and we are about to not be. So the luxuries of not having the man protector and provider of the family, that's about to end. When there's nobody to call, how do they protect their families? It's just not possible. Unfortunately, I have all of the oldest children with me here in Ohio, which is good for me, but not good for my wife and the children that I still have in Oklahoma. So it's a bad situation all the way around. It's hard to be prepared.
I know.
Yeah, I have to psychologically prepare for the fact that I will, if something goes down, I will probably never see or hear from them again. And wow, that's the kind of situation I find myself in, and I know I'm not the only one. So I don't really need the sympathy, because I'm sure there are men in particular all over this country that are going to be separated from their children by this movement that has divided all our families and made
people don't realize this, Adam. They don't realize, Adam.
No.
They don't realize how much America's always been a safe place. It's not going to be very soon. They just don't get it. They don't understand what's going to happen. You know, I mean, when they get to this great reset,
there is no guarantee anywhere that we have a right to a safe society. That is only enforced as long as the will of the people wills it. But we've long ago abandoned the principles of the republic in favor of this democratic corporate nightmare that they've created, and they've looted and destroyed the family. They've looted and destroyed everything that was good in this country, and we're being reduced to rubble. It's the same failure of the Roman Empire, if we are to believe the stories of history, which I've come to question pretty much everything about history that we've ever been told.
Yep.
But if we were to believe the story of the Roman Empire, it's just like their collapse. We're doing it all over again. And if it wasn't a true story about the Roman Empire, then it was a prophetic story about what they were planning to do with us. Either way, however you look at it, that's what's happening.
True.
So
you're right, Adam.
Ridiculous.
You're right.
Our military is being sucked into this thing abroad, which means even if there are conservative members of the military, or there are Navy admirals or whatever that would resist the tyranny of our existing corporate government, they're going to be abroad when whatever goes down here in the States.
Yeah. It's sad when you think about it. It really is. It's sad because I just felt like, you know me, Adam, I've been out here shouting my lungs off for the last 10 years on this damn podcast show, warning people, warning them, I ran for office twice. You know, I mean, and it's just like I feel like I didn't do a good enough job. You know,
I have worked with so many groups, and what I found is that there's a lot of people who have known for a long time, but ultimately, if they get to a position where they believe that somebody else will do the work, where somebody else can be voted into office and they don't have to stand, that becomes the downfall of every group that starts making headway. They fold into the Republican Party thinking that the Republican Party or Donald Trump is going to save them. We're still seeing that. The religion of Trump makes me absolutely sick.
Yeah, and real quick, Adam, for those who are just tuning into the podcast, got a few people that come in. We announced it here about 30 minutes ago. It looks like they've attacked Iran, And you're not going to find it on the news yet. Maybe a couple alternative sites. It's slowly trickling out the information. But it looks like they attacked some nuclear sites in Iran and Syria and Iraq. So it looks like we are in World War III. So that's what it appears to be so. So because that's what was going to happen. So go ahead, Adam. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. And I think I got Joe on here too now. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No problem. I mean, if those things turn out to be true, then they're going to activate all of these people that they've brought in across the border for the last 2-3 years. And something's going to happen. Whatever it is going to happen. And it's all by design. Your government that purports to represent you created this situation on purpose, and they are going to destroy everything that we know that is good. If they haven't already, I mean, people don't recognize that you will never vote your way out of this. There's no fixing this with the current system. The two-party system is a uniparty. The religion of Trump is designed to get patriots to stand down and hope that one man will fix this thing. Even if Donald Trump were honest and true to his word, he doesn't have the power to do it himself.
Yeah.
And the nature of what is supposed to be the republic.
Yeah. You're absolutely correct, man. And the thing with it is that people need to understand what you're saying. We have, Adam, you and I have been on Zoom calls. We've been in groups. We've almost taken the dive almost to go out there and fight on the front line, bring it to the people. We saw what was happening, and it's just I'm a loss for words, really, to try to let people know the magnitude and seriousness of what is going to happen. And I'm telling you, this is bad. This is bad, very bad. And I remember when people were talking about COVID. Everybody's going to die. And I said, come on, knock it off. Nothing's going to happen. But I've never seen the world lock down the way it was, huh? You never seen nothing like that tyranny, huh?
And let's remember that happened underneath Donald Trump. And let's remember that his response to that was our administration is working towards a vaccine faster than anyone's ever seen. I mean, we're working at the speed of science. That was Donald Trump himself.
Yeah.
That was his answer. It wasn't, we're watching these governors impose the worst tyranny on freedom I've ever seen in my life. He wasn't speaking to any of that. I don't trust any one man to do anything. If we, the people, will not stand for our own freedom, we don't deserve it.
Yeah. Amen.
And that's the reason I've given up on it. I have no hope that the people will stand. I have none.
Yeah.
Because they willfully refuse to see the truth. They stick their head between their legs and kiss their own asses goodbye as the world comes to an end. That's what they want to do. They want to sit behind their pickets. They want to watch NFL football all day, be entertained, and pretend that the world's not going to end like it's going to go on forever. That's what they want. And that's what they're getting.
Yep. You're right.
So,
you're right. Well, the reason why. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, one of the reasons we have this runaway inflation that I'm not hearing about, because we're talking about all this money we're spending overseas, we aren't talking about the money that they gave away during COVID.
Yeah.
All those stimulus checks that we all got that we thought was so great, or so many people, I remember at that time telling people, you're going to pay that back tenfold.
Oh, I know, huh?
And
I know. What a joke. I remember you saying that, actually. I remember that. You don't think that their inflation, with diluting the money supply the way that they did, diluting it, because that's what they did. They diluted the money supply. What do you think is going to happen? Our dollars become worthless.
And every one of those dollars they gave out during the stimulus checks went only to the businesses that were allowed to be open. And who was that? Walmart, Amazon, Google, yada, yada, yada. right? The big corp. So what you saw was a wealth transfer.
Yep. Here it is right here.
While everyone else got poor.
Yep, here it is right here, the first article I've seen on the Internet about what I told you. 3 large explosions heard in Isfahan, south of Tehran, U.S. officials confirmed. The Natus nuclear facility is located near Isfahan, whatever the hell that is. Unconfirmed simultaneous explosions have also been reported in Syria, in Iraq, Baghdad, and Babylon province. Iran has established a no-fly zone over its western region. Market reaction very strong. Oil and gold soaring. TSY yields, crypto and stocks tumbling. And just like that, Israel having once again ignored Biden's pleadings not to escalate the already tense situation in retaliating against Iran's weekend strike, which was itself a retaliation against Israel's bombing Iran embassy in Syria on April 1st. Moments ago, futures dumped. Oil prices spiked and Treasury yields slumped amid social media reports and Reuters headlines that there have been 3 major huge explosions near the central Iran cities of Natanz, location of Iranian nuclear power plant. So that would make sense. They attacked the nuclear facilities. That's what they would say. Squadrons of F-14 Tomcat fighter aircraft. Air Force may have been targeted. The Ace Tactical Air Base of the Iranian Air Force within Safan International Airport, which contains multiple squadrons of F-14 Tomcat fighters. ABC News reports that Israeli missiles hit a site in Iran. There you go. There it is, you assholes. Israel did this. Yep. Israeli missiles hit Iran. Yep. Israel. It's all over the news now. Yep. Well, you heard it here first, guys. At least give me credit there. You know?
That's the first I've heard it tonight, so, yeah. It's, I don't know, guys. All I can say is brace for impact.
Yeah, because this is bad.
I think we're gonna feel this one way or another. We're gonna feel it.
I know, Adam. So, Adam, Russia backs Iran. Russia built those nuclear power plants. They have Russian scientists in there. If they killed any Russians, it's on. It's on.
If they killed any Russians, and then you're going to have the Chinese involvement. They're just itching to go over into Taiwan, right? So that we're unleashing the powder keg, and we let Israel do it. Israel is not an ally, and the sooner we realize that, the better. They use us as their puppet military, and it's ridiculous. It's not the Israel of the Bible. Those are 2 different things.
I know. No, I agree with you, Adam. Yeah. And those are not the Jews.
I hear that garbage all the time.
Yeah.
I hear it all the time.
I know.
If you mess with Israel, woe is you, because Bible and God, and no. It's not the same thing.
That's not the same thing. No.
So it's all
those that claim to be Jews. What's the Bible say, Adam? It says those that claim to be Jews but are not. They are just, that's what it says in Revelation. They're not really Jews. They're faking it. Those are evil people.
Yeah.
Those are the devil,
Well, the vast majority of those that are claiming to be Jews in Israel have absolutely no traceable tie to the bloodlines of the original 13 tribes at all. So it doesn't.
Exactly.
It's all ridiculous. Everything is fake. All of the narratives in the history of these things is a lie. And it's lies written by the victors of these wars. And the victors of the wars have nothing to do with the nations. It has everything to do with the Vatican and the financing and the banks and the corporations and all of those that stem to gain from these things. Because what do you and I have against the Iranians? What do you and I have against the average Russian person?
They're a peaceful people.
They're a peaceful people. Right. Why are we attacking anyone? It's none of our business. It's not our war. It's not.
Yep.
I don't have anything to do with anyone in Ukraine. I don't have anything to do with anyone in Russia. The average Russian doesn't care about the average American, doesn't care about the average Ukrainian. These are wars among
the bankers,
the top leaders, right, the puppet masters, and they're directing these wars. They're not even real wars. They're just ordering people to go to war. We don't understand that this entire population of this planet is being played.
Yeah, I know.
We exist
as
slaves to a system that we just don't understand. We people don't get it.
Adam, the thing of it is, I've always asked you, Adam, what can we do? You know, I know you don't have all the answers, but I always like to hear what people have to say. What can we do? What can we really do?
When I have advocated a lot for new form of people's assemblies. We talked about militia for years, but I think there needs to be a new form of man warrior in this country, and that man warrior needs to be able to comprehend and understand the nature of the battle we're fighting. The battle we're fighting is a battle of ideology, and we need people not to be running around in woods with guns. Once we've gotten to that point, it's too late. That's not the fight we need to be having. The fight that we needed to be having years ago is we need groups of men to come together, form their own election board to vote by consent of the governed a new county to replace the corporate county that no longer serves us. Build your county, remove your sheriff, remove your existing county commissioners, and take your counties back. And you do that all over the damn country until you've replaced this corporate government, this fake government, that we can't even get a single person. Generally, nobody will stand. They all say, you can't do it. You can't do it. And you're right. We will never get there. We will never do it because everyone thinks that it can't be done. And there we are. So I gave up on that. I've talked about that. I know how that can be done. I've talked to recovering attorneys and stuff to say there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. We could fight that out all the way to the Supreme Court even. Those are the battles we need to be having. But we're not going to go there. We're all going to wait until we're shooting each other in the streets before we decide that we can abandon our NFL football days to do some fucking paperwork. You know, now there's no NFL. Guess you got nothing better to do than to try and find some rats to eat on the street while you're shooting your neighbors.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. I am so utterly sick of the entertainment industry in this, the passive apathy of these people. I've spent so much of my time and energy helping people fight this system, helping people understand and comprehend, and we've gotten nowhere. People want to be lazy. They're getting the government they deserve. That's all it is.
I know, man.
We're getting the government we deserve. And those of us who've understood it and been talking this for years.
It's just so sad. I know. And people just don't realize this. And Adam, you're one of the guys that know. I know you're in the know. You've been with me on this thing, the militia and everything when we were doing this, and we've seen it, and we've seen how
around so many ways.
Yeah.
Spun this
Remember with the
so
Republic?
many ways, worked with so many organizations.
Remember that one?
Yeah. There's so many ways we could have and should have done this, and then you've got, you know, your infiltrators and your political party
Remember Barry Croft? Remember Barry Croft?
Yeah.
What a shame he's going to be in prison for all this, you know? What a shame.
Right.
I mean, he was a down dude. Right. He was, you know?
And he went to prison because he had criminal dirt on Whitmer. So that's the reason. He went to jail because the criminals are the ones running the fucking system. It's a criminal enterprise.
Yeah. You're right.
The criminals, the inmates are running the prison.
They're running the asylum. Yeah, the inmates are running the asylum.
Yeah, they do. Yes, they are.
I know.
Yeah, they absolutely are.
Have you spoken to what's her face there that we used to talk to, the one that was with the Marshal Service supposedly, or no, and the other one there? What the hell was Shannon? Remember her?
I do still talk to Shannon. I don't talk to. I don't remember what her name was, but supposedly she was outed as a fake as well.
Really?
She wasn't actually a marshal. Yeah.
Oh God!
Well,
wonderful.
I don't know if you remember your former co-host and Indiana militia member, you remember what happened to him, right?
No, what happened to him?
He turned out to be a 71 Lima. And I don't know if you know what that is, but a 71 Lima MOS means he was a clerk for Special Forces.
Really?
Yes.
So what was his agenda then? What was his agenda? What was he trying to do?
Well, I mean, do you want the honest truth on this channel? So it's kind of.
I want to hear it.
His agenda.
Adam, we can't hold anything back anymore. We can't hold anything back. Just tell me, man. No matter how much it hurts.
he liked being the leader of a militia, and it got him laid. He liked wearing the uniforms.
Oh Lord.
So we looked into why he got kicked out of the military, and he got kicked out of the military for impersonating a Special Forces officer. And when that came out, as it turns out, he had nothing to do with Special Forces. He was like a sergeant clerk, 71 Lima for Special Forces.
That's why he faked. That's why he faked going into top secret clearance that night, live on the air. That's why he faked that.
Correct.
Oh my God.
Correct.
Oh my God.
Correct.
Oh Jesus. You know, he would call me and ask me about the Navy SEALs and everything. I said, I'm not a Navy SEAL. I said, I hung around with them.
First of all,
you know?
I asked the question why anybody would do that live. That was dumb.
Yeah.
He was going into Camp Atterbury or something. I remember that.
Yeah. Remember that night?
That didn't make any sense to me, and now I know why. But yeah, he was a fake, and
that's why, and that's
literally
unreal, man.
Yeah.
Oh God. So he wasn't a Fed. He wasn't an undercover Fed trying to bring us down. Or you think he was snitching on us too? You think maybe? Because he would do anything to get popular.
No,
I guess.
he wasn't.
I mean,
he wasn't snitching on us. That's the reason he would ask me questions. He wanted me to basically, by proxy, I was kind of running his militia for him. He was asking me questions that didn't even make sense to me. Like, if I was naval intelligence, I wasn't ground forces. Why are you asking me questions about who should be what and doing what and what rank should be? I don't know that. I give you guys the information. You do what you will with it. That was my job. So I didn't understand why he was asking me the questions he was asking me. But as it turned out, he didn't know anything about running a ground force. He didn't know. It was all about, and his imitation of an officer while he was in was all about getting laid. He was in bars, putting on uniforms he didn't.
I know Joe Gibson. Joe Gibson. Well, I'm on a radio show.
Right. Well, and that's it too. And he was always about getting patches and uniforms made and stuff like that. And I was always asking him, I was like, shouldn't you put the structure of your militia get together before you worry about uniforms? I mean, don't you want to? Shouldn't you put together what it is that you guys are about before you start trying to, none of what he did ever made sense to me, and especially in light of him supposedly having done all these missions on the ground and shit. Now, what made him semi-believable was that he did have access to classified information, I know, because I remembered a few things from my time in, and I knew some other people that did too. So he sounded convincing.
He sounded convincing that we were getting ready to go to war with the government. We were getting ready, and he had Barry all souped up. And for those who are listening, Barry Cross is one of the guys that got rounded up in a governor plot there, and he's in federal prison right now. And he was one of the regulars on my podcast show, actually, Barry and a couple other guys, and they would call in and and sound off and basically just shoot themselves in the foot, I used to talk to Barry for hours after the show, and I'd be like, knock it off, Barry. What are you doing, man?
Yeah, but it's ridiculous. People have gone down these routes, and they do things for all kinds of motives that have nothing to do with anything. And dealing with those people, those kinds of people in these kinds of organizations that end up. There was one group that I was working with, spun off of Glenn Beck's 360 group that he was doing, and we were doing really well to educate people and get them to understand the true nature of what's going on. Democracy that they've created in corporatism, and they ended up bringing in some people from the Republican Party that ended up doing consulting, and before you know it, the whole thing's just wrapped up in the party and running,
Yeah.
And that's the way it happens. The election campaign for Alan Keyes for president was the same way. The man Tom Hoefling that they brought in to eventually help direct Alan Keyes was supposed to be an experienced campaign manager. All he did was roll the whole thing into the Republican Party, and
wow,
they were the largest third party under Alan Keyes. They were the largest third party.
He was a good guy, Alan Keyes. I thought, I thought he was one of the good ones.
Alan Keyes is a genius, absolute genius. Tom Hoefling is a piece of garbage, and I would love for him to hear that from me one day, because he is. He's the biggest piece of Republican trash. That man deserves to go to prison for treason, because that's basically what he did, was he committed treason on behalf of the state, on behalf of the Republican Party and the corporation.
What's your take, Adam? What's your take on the Convention of the States? Because I went to one of their meetings about 3 months ago here in Reedsville. We had about 25 of us down there, and they called me and they said, "Hey, why don't you come to the meeting?" And I said, "All right, I'll come and check you guys out." And we really didn't talk about too much. Just handed out cards with each other and stuff like that. What's your opinion on them?
I haven't heard a whole lot about them. I don't think that they're strong enough right now to actually stir enough. And that I could be wrong, but I mean, we've gone through several of groups of this type. The motives are probably there, but do they have the charisma to actually stir up a population of people and actually get something going? That's a whole nother thing. We had that big movement with the Fourth Continental Congress, and when I learned about what had happened with the Third Continental Congress, I realized that we were operating in futility. The main reason is that these groups are trying to move this existing government. This existing government has no obligation to listen to the people at all. And that's what they told. There was a massive movement for the Third Continental Congress to reform government.
I remember.
And they just said, "We're not your government. We do what we want. That's what we have no obligation to hear you at all. You can petition your grievance, and we can ignore it." And that's
right,
the way
man.
they said it. There's a man in Tennessee that I would encourage people, if you actually want to get onto something that might work. There's a man in Tennessee, John Gentry, that I've spoken to on multiple occasions, who's made some headway in reforming the judicial system in Tennessee through the remonstrance process. And he's got a decent following, and I've had the honor of talking to that man a few times.
I think he's mad at me, Adam. I think he's mad at me. I'm on Facebook with him. He's mad at me. I don't know, but I think so. He criticized. I told him, I said, "Listen, we have to stop being subject class citizens." And he said, "That's a bunch of banker nonsense, Joe." He says, "You really don't need to feed into that." He says, "We're not a corporation." I said, "What?" I said, "How could you say?" Is he just saying that on the open? I mean.
And that might be true. I've not gotten into the corporation conversation with John Gentry. He's trying to reform the judiciary within the system as it stands, and trying to get
kind of like me,
trying to get this supposed representative government to actually represent something other than corporate interests. He's legitimately trying to do that, and he's a really good man, former Marine. And he may not understand the level of corporation the way we do, but I don't even know that matters at this point, honestly.
I know. You're right.
Because if we can't make an edge or a bump in something, because they just entrench, they double down, they triple the paperwork, they make more clerks, they hire 80,000 IRS agents, whatever they got to do, right? They just double down on it. and they double down on it with the resources of we the people. They take from us, they double down, and they tighten the noose. So until we can find a way to put a chink in that supply chain, as it were, whether John Gentry understands the level of corporation that we're talking about or not is irrelevant. If he is a soldier
coming
in the
from
battle,
you, I'll buy
we
that.
need him.
Because I trust you. You know, I trust you. So coming from you, I buy that. You know.
Anybody who can disrupt, who is willing to disrupt and can disrupt the supply chain and organization of this supposed government, that's what we need. And we're all trying to do this peacefully. Federal government, agents, FBI, CIA. We're trying to be peaceful. We would love to be peaceful. It is the government that keeps employing violence.
Yeah.
You guys
we have no
the
plans
monopoly
to use
violence.
guns. Yep. We have no plans to use guns. Nope.
We would love to be non-violent. The only people bringing violence is the damn government. So. That's true. There's no Barry Crofts here tonight, so they were famous watching my show, Adam. Man, my show was beeping and humming and beeping, man. I had more downloads than. Well, when I called you the first time, the electronics in my car went out and came back on, did some weird stuff that I've never seen it do when I called you the first time. So who knows?
Yeah.
They beamed their satellite down to figure out what I'm doing.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what I'm on that list. You know that, especially when, like I said, when Barry and them were, then I was like, man, please God, I hope to hell they can friggin' include me in this crap. I had nothing to do. When he asked me to come to South Carolina, thank God I did not go. Because that's where they started watching them. Was down at that picnic they had in South Carolina, Barry and everybody. And Barry's like, come on down. And I'm like, nope, I ain't going. Sorry, and,
Barry talked way too much about Boogaloo Boys and all that shit. He was, he couldn't get, he was the kind of guy that couldn't wrap his head around an actual solution that didn't involve violence, and that's understandable to an extent. I get it, but I'm not ready to commit my kids to a fucking meat grinder yet. I'm trying to avoid that. No.
And man, look at his daughters, his poor daughters now that had to suffer through this. His daughters. I feel so bad for them. I mean, that's sad. When you think about it. But at the same time, the guy was innocent. He was innocent. I mean, he had a big mouth. But you know what? He wasn't going to do anything. Barry was too smart. That's why they picked him up in Delaware. They didn't pick him up out there with the rest of them because he was not going to do it. And I talked to him 2 weeks before they arrested him. And I said, Barry, they're watching you, man. You got to watch out. Be careful, man. He goes, oh, I know. I'm being shadowed everywhere. I remember when I met him for breakfast here in Virginia. I met him up there. He was so paranoid, and he brought some flunky with him. I don't know who that guy is to this day, and he was packing heat. And I'm like, man, that's when we were going to go to the gun rally, in Virginia. Remember the gun rally?
Yeah.
With 20,000? Yeah. So, we met for breakfast, and he says, I'm being watched, and I said, what the hell are you sitting down with me then for? So.
Thanks for bringing the heat. I appreciate it.
He was something else. He's a nice guy, though. He was a lovable guy. I mean, he'd do anything for you. He'd go to bat for you in a second.
Oh, yeah.
Trust me, I know that, But just a little bit, calm down, Barry. Calm down. Take it easy. Great guy,
we're not trying to go there.
Yeah. But so you and your wife are forever. I only got a couple more minutes left before they cut me off here. But I'm going to go over to another podcast show, the Von Hunt Show, I think. Real quick, though, so your wife and you're done? You're divorced now? Totally?
Well, that's the way it is at this point, yeah. Unfortunately, she decided that her feelings and emotions and her attachment to her family was more important than our marriage. So, the whole, she said God told her to leave me, basically, is literally the words that she gave me. But because, a wife that should leave his mother and her mother and father and cleave unto her husband. That's not scripture. That's God.
No, yeah,
God
right. Yeah.
Makes exceptions to that and gives you your own directives that are in violation of scripture, and so she's always been in our relationship the sole voice of God, and that was used to manipulate me for years, and I finally decided that with some things that went down on my last visit there that we were done. I don't have the energy to keep begging her to let me take care of her. It's weird. So it is what it is. I mean, she's prepared what she can prepare, and I've prepared what I can prepare. She split my resources, so that screwed me in my preparation, but we're going to do what we can do. And
how about this? Give the listeners out there, I know I got a few other people on the line here, and they can jump in if they want for closing thoughts, but give the listeners some closing thoughts with the information I broke to you, and thanks for calling in, but give us some closing thoughts and or some advice, please, with the knowledge that you have.
My advice would be to prepare for, if you're in the city, prepare for unrest way beyond what the BLM ever brought forth, and be prepared to get out, I would say, because you could barricade yourself in your home, but who knows how long, if it's a financial collapse, if it's an EMP, if it's whatever that it is, something is coming. Something is going to come out of this, even if it's just runaway inflation. Something is going to happen, and they've been trying to get us to prepare, like all of the rhetoric leading up to the eclipse and all that, telling you to get weeks worth of food and all of that stuff. They're telling you openly in plain sight, so that to ease their own conscience, that's actually a satanic belief in karma, where if they tell you openly to prepare for something, or they tell you that they're going to do something and they do it, then it doesn't come back on them in karma if you didn't prepare. And my policy and what I teach my children is to prepare for something. Even if it doesn't happen, it's better to be prepared that it didn't happen than not be prepared when it did. And hopefully, God willing, nothing happens, nothing major happens, and our families stay safe, and our economy manages to chug on, and we are relatively okay. Not that the situation as it stands is okay, but I mean, hopefully it doesn't descend into absolute chaos. I would love for that to not happen, but I personally am, my sight says that something's about to go down, and that's what I'm preparing for.
Yeah, agreed on that. Agreed, brother. Gunslinger or anybody else, Alaskan, I know you're out there. If you guys want to say something here real quick, or to talk to Adam real quick, you're more than welcome to. I know you guys are out there listening. That's fine if you just want to listen. Anybody? I understand. You know, probably everybody's got their ear to the ground. They're probably watching the internet, listening to me, and doing other things. But Adam, I just want to say, as always, it's great to talk to you. Appreciate you calling in. I know I just, at a moment's notice, but that's what a patriot does, We're always out there, always there for each other the best way we can, I know you're always on point. I know that, So I want to say, hey, God bless you. Please stay safe. And, if you can get a hold of me, I'm always here. I got a place for you in North Carolina if you can get here. So, I live out here near the
Roger
that. All right, man.
Appreciate
all right, guys.
it.
Man. All right, guys. I guess I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to head over to the Von Hunt Show. Everybody, hey, be safe out there. God bless the Republic. Take care. And, man, that's all I can say. Take care, Adam.